You have just done it. The promotion, the deal, the milestone, the thing you have been chasing for months, maybe years, and it is finally yours, and you feel it. The rush, the heat, the almost unbearable urge to tell everyone, to post it, to share it, to let the world know that you have arrived. Your thumb hovers over the screen, and your mind races with the perfect caption, the photo that captures the moment, the words that will make them see, make them acknowledge, make them finally understand what you have become. And then, somewhere deep inside, a voice whispers something you cannot quite name. A hesitation, a pause, a feeling that this is not the right move, that something about this moment demands more than a post, more than a celebration, more than the approval of a crowd that does not truly know you. That voice is not paranoia. That voice is wisdom. That voice is the echo of a man who lived 2,000 years ago at the center of the Roman Empire, surrounded by more power, more wealth, and more danger than you can possibly imagine, and who understood something that most people never learn, that the public celebration of success is not a victory, it is a surrender. It is the moment when you hand over your achievement to the very forces that will try to destroy it. Seneca knew this because he lived it. He was the wealthiest man in Rome, the advisor to the most powerful emperor on earth, a man who had everything the world could offer, and he wrote letters to his friend Lucilius, letters that were not about how to get more, but about how to keep what you have, how to protect your soul from the very things that seem like success. In letter 11, a letter called On the Blush of Modesty, Seneca discussed something that seems almost trivial at first, the way a man's face reddens when he is embarrassed. But what he was really talking about was the body's betrayal of the soul, the way our natural reactions reveal what we truly feel. He observed that a young man he met could not stop blushing, and he said something remarkable. I feel sure that his habit of blushing will stay with him after he has strengthened his character, stripped off all his faults, and become wise. For by no wisdom can natural weaknesses of the body be removed. He understood that some things are simply part of who we are, that we cannot fake our way through life, that the body will always tell the truth even when the mind tries to hide it. And that is exactly what happens when you celebrate your success in public. You think you are sharing your joy, but what you are really doing is revealing your need. The need for approval, the need for validation, the need for the crowd to tell you that you matter. And once that need is revealed, you have already lost. Because you have made your happiness dependent on something outside yourself, something that can be taken away, something that will never be enough. Seneca knew that the blush of modesty, the natural reaction of a man who is not performing, is a sign of true character, and that the moment you start performing, the moment you start seeking applause, you have already begun to corrupt your soul. In letter 28, a letter called On Travel as a Cure for Discontent, Seneca addressed something even deeper. Lucilius had been traveling, hoping that new places would cure his restlessness, and Seneca wrote to him with a brutal truth. Do you suppose that you alone have had this experience? Are you surprised, as if it were a novelty, that after such long travel and so many changes of scene you have not been able to shake off the gloom and heaviness of your mind? And then came the line that cuts through all our excuses. You need a change of soul rather than a change of climate. He told Lucilius that no matter where he went, his faults would follow him, because the problem was not the place, it was the person. Why do you wonder that globe-trotting does not help you? He wrote, quoting Socrates, seeing that you always take yourself with you? You cannot escape yourself by changing your surroundings, and you cannot find happiness by displaying it to others. The applause of the crowd is just another form of travel, another attempt to find something outside yourself that can only be found within. So why does Seneca say that you should never celebrate your wins in public? Not because he is against joy, not because he wants you to be miserable, not because he believes that success should be hidden like a shameful secret. He says it because he understands something far more profound. That public celebration is not a celebration at all. It is a transaction. You give your achievement to the crowd, and in return, you receive their approval, their admiration, their envy, their resentment. You trade something real for something hollow. And once you start making that trade, you cannot stop. You become dependent on the applause. You begin to measure your success not by what you have accomplished, but by how others react to it. You lose the ability to feel your own victory because you have outsourced the feeling to people who do not truly care about you. This is what Seneca meant when he said that the wise man is content with himself, that he does not need the crowd to validate him, that he has built his house on solid ground and cannot be shaken by the storms of public opinion. The wise man celebrates his victories, but he celebrates them in silence, in the privacy of his own soul, in the quiet presence of his own conscience. He does not post them. He does not broadcast them. He does not lay them at the feet of people who will either envy him or use him. He holds them close, like a secret, like a treasure, like something that belongs only to him. And this is where the Stoic truth about pride becomes clear. Pride is not the problem. The problem is the performance of pride. The need to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be celebrated by others. That need is the crack in your armor, the opening through which envy enters, the weakness that others will exploit. Seneca knew that the people closest to you, the ones who smile at your success, are often the ones who resent it the most. They cannot celebrate you because they have not yet learned to celebrate themselves. And when you force them to witness your triumph, you are not sharing your joy, you are rubbing salt in their wounds. There is a phrase that Seneca used that cuts like a blade, a warning that every ambitious man should carve into his memory. Do not tell others about your plans until they are accomplished. Fortune loves silence. Fortune, he believed, is a jealous force. She does not reward those who boast about what they will achieve. She rewards those who move in darkness, who strike in stillness, who let their results speak long after their mouths have closed. The man who talks about his success is too busy talking to be successful. The man who posts about his victory has already lost the victory, because he has traded the reality of the achievement for the illusion of the applause. And here is the deeper truth, the one that Seneca understood and that the modern world has completely forgotten. The only celebration that truly matters is the celebration that no one else sees. The moment when you sit alone, in the silence of your own room, and you acknowledge what you have done, not for the approval of others, but for the approval of your own conscience. That is the celebration that cannot be taken from you. That is the victory that remains yours forever. The applause of the crowd fades, the likes disappear, the comments are forgotten, but the quiet satisfaction of a man who knows he earned what he has, that stays with you for the rest of your life. Seneca wrote about this in a way that still resonates across the centuries. He said that we should rejoice with others in their joys and sympathize with them in their troubles, but we should also remember what we should offer and what we should withhold. There is a discipline to celebration, a wisdom to knowing when to share and when to stay silent. The man who celebrates too loudly is not confident. He is insecure. He needs the crowd to tell him he is worthy because he does not yet believe it himself. The man who celebrates in silence has already found his worth, and no amount of applause can add to it, and no amount of silence can diminish it. So what do? You have achieved something great. You feel the rush, the excitement, the joy, and you want to share it. But you have heard the warning, you have felt the hesitation, you have listened to the voice that tells you to pause. What is the alternative? Seneca gave us the answer, not in a letter about celebration, but in his entire philosophy of life. The alternative is to celebrate alone, to whisper your victories to the wind, to treat each achievement like a seed, not a trophy, because seeds buried in silence grow into forests, but trophies displayed too early become tombstones. And here is the practice, the simple but difficult discipline that Seneca would recommend. Instead of posting your victory on social media, instead of calling everyone you know, instead of broadcasting your success to the world, sit down with a pen and a piece of paper, or with a voice recorder, or just in the silence of your own mind, and ask yourself 3 questions. What did I learn from this victory? What did I overcome to get here? What does this achievement mean for the person I am becoming? Write down the answers, not for anyone else to see, but for yourself, for your own record, for your own conscience. This is the celebration that matters, the one that no one else can take from you. This is the Stoic practice of turning victory into wisdom, of transforming success into something that nourishes your soul rather than feeding your ego. And then, when you have done that, when you have sat with your achievement in silence, when you have extracted the lessons and absorbed the meaning, then you can share it, but only with the people who truly matter, the ones who have been with you through the struggle, the ones who will celebrate you without envy, the ones who are not measuring themselves against you. And even then, share it quietly, without performance, without expectation, without the need for validation. Share it as a gift, not as a demand. Share it as a fact, not as a plea. Because the truth that Seneca understood, the truth that has been echoed by every wise tradition that followed him, is that your success is sacred. It is not a toy to be displayed, not a trophy to be paraded, not a weapon to be used against those who have not yet achieved what you have achieved. It is a responsibility, a trust, a gift that you have been given, and you are meant to steward it, not to squander it on the approval of people who do not truly know you. The tribunal inside your head, the one that judges you based on the opinions of others, it exists only because you have given others the ammunition to judge you. Take away that ammunition. Stop feeding the tribunal. Stop handing out the weapons. Your victory is yours, not theirs. Your celebration is yours, not theirs. Your joy is yours, not theirs. And the only approval that ultimately matters is the approval of your own conscience. The quiet voice that tells you that you did what you set out to do, that you earned what you have, that you are becoming the person you were meant to be. Seneca knew that the strongest men in history were not the loudest. The loudest men are the ones who get caught, the ones who get betrayed, the ones who end up alone, wondering why no one stayed. The silent men, the ones who move without announcement, who build without boasting, who celebrate without broadcasting, they are the ones who endure. They are the ones who cannot be touched because no one knows where to strike. They are the ones who have learned the most important lesson of all, that the only celebration that truly matters is the one that no one else sees. So the next time you achieve something great, pause. Breathe. Feel the weight of what you have done. Taste the sweetness of the victory, but do not share it yet. Let it settle. Let it become part of you. Let it transform you from the inside out. And then, when you are ready, celebrate it in silence, with the quiet confidence of a man who knows his worth does not depend on the approval of others. Celebrate it so that no one knows, and then your victory will remain yours forever.